Welcome back to my channel. I'm Traben. These are my tomes, and today we're doing the end of year book tag. End of year book tag, pretty short tag, pretty direct, not a whole lot of questions, just going to jump straight into it with the first question. Are there any books that you're partway through and you really need to finish? And for this one, I have the play The Iceman Cometh, which is one of the books my literary criticism team is having to read this year. I got about halfway through in preparation for one of our meetings, and I have not finished it, and it should not take me more than like an hour, hour and a half to finish up the rest of it, but I just have not been able to pick it up since then. Haven't really felt like getting back into it. If you're not familiar with The Iceman Cometh, it is a story of a bunch of men in this bar whose lives have kind of gone to pot, and they all have these pipe dreams that keep them going, and it's all about, should you have these impossible dreams, and should you chase these dreams and hold them close, or should you free yourself from that kind of shackle and go and, you know, be more assertive and actually go do the things that you say that you want to do. But it's fairly bleak, and a lot of the dialogue is it's very dialect heavy, so the dialogue is written in a way to kind of emulate the mannerisms of their speech, which can make it a little bit difficult to get through at times. And again, just every time I've looked at it, I've not wanted to pick it up, but I need to get it done. I need to finish it. That's the one that I need to just buckle down and get it done. Question number 2, is there anything that you're reading or about to read that has autumnal vibes? And I was going to say Meddling Kids for this. Meddling Kids is kind of a reimagining of the Scooby Gang, hence the name. And it had very fall vibes, very like creepy vibes, but had this kind of eldritch horror story set in a small town where there's a creepy manor. All that really feels autumn to me. On my radar, probably the most autumn themed one I have is maybe Hollow Kingdom, which is about a zombie apocalypse through the perspective of a crow. So that kind of gives me autumn vibes for some reason. That is what I will say is my like autumnal read that's coming up. Question number 3 are, what are some of the new releases on your radar that are coming up? And I have a few that I will share here, but I am going to put up a separate 10 before the end video, so I'm going to keep this to just a handful of titles. The first of which is going to be Brigands and Bread Knives by Travis Baldree. This is the 3rd book in his cozy fantasy world. I bought it without knowing too much about the actual plot that is going to happen, just that I've heard this is going to be less cozy than either Legends and Lattes or Bookshops and Bone Dust, but I am really a fan of his writing and a fan of this world, so I am interested in reading this next one, and I'm hoping it still has a little bit of the cozy vibes. Plus, this is my last book off of my 25 for 2025, so I need to read it to complete that challenge. Another book on the radar that's not a new release, but I think this version is fairly new, is We Are Legion, the first book in the Bobverse series, which is on my 10 new series to try in 2025, and I've gotten through I think 6 of the series so far, so this will make the 7th. I don't think I'm going to reach that goal to read all 10 new series, but I definitely want to get this one done. And I started the audiobook of this before realizing that the audiobook I was listening to was a horrible AI version and had to drop it, so I'm going to start this one over, but that's my next read, I think, after Brigands and Bread Knives. It's going to be We Are Legion. Finally, I'll mention that Sanderson has a short story collection called Tailored Realities coming out in December that I'm interested in. I haven't read a lot of short story collections this year, and it's one of my goals to read more short story collections, read more nonfiction, kind of branch out of just the sci-fi fantasy horror that I tend to get into. And yes, this will still be primarily sci-fi focused. The style of short stories is different than reading a novel or even a novella, so I'm looking forward to that one as well. Next question is, are there any releases or upcoming reads that you think could be a shocking favorite, supplant your favorite book of the year? And at this point, I find that very unlikely. 2025 has been a really strong year. I've read over 200 books this year, including the second and third books in the Locked Tomb series. I read an excellent nonfiction with Everything is Tuberculosis. I've read, for sci-fi, I've got the Sun Eater series and Dune that I read through. So it just seems unlikely that any of the upcoming ones are suddenly going to be my favorite read of the year, but anything's possible. We'll see what happens. It's just been a really strong year, so I am doubtful that I will come across the best book in these last couple of months. The last question is, what are your plans for 2026? So I've got a number of things that I'm hoping to do. I will probably make a separate video all about my ideas for 2026 and what I want to do moving forward. But a couple of things that are standing out in my mind now. I do want to pick up more Dungeon Crawler Carl books. I believe I got through the first 3, and I think there's like 7 of them out. They are such big books, but I really enjoy them. They are incredibly funny. They read very quickly, and I am wanting to continue that series for sure into 2026 and try to have that be one that I finish up in 2026. Another thing that I want to make sure I do is I do want to finish up the 10 series I set out to read in 2025. I think the 2 that I'm not going to get to are going to be The Blade Itself and Malazan, and I will at least read the first books in those series early in 2026 if I can't get to them in the next couple of months. I once again have a backlog of Fairy Loot books that I am going to be doing a month or 2 of reading through. My plan for the next round of reading through these YA romanticises is to find a 5-star review and a 1-star review and have Amanda edit them and read them to me, and then make my decisions on the ordering from there. Early this year, we did the first lines out of several books and ranked them that way. So I think it'll be another fun video to kind of get in order to read them and then get those wrapped up in the first couple of months, January and February of next year. I do have plans to read Sense and Sensibility for a very specific reason that I will not get into, but that is another one that's on my radar. Finally, my coworker has gifted me a series from a author friend of hers that she would like me to read and review and possibly even get the author on for some kind of interview, which sounds really cool. I'd love to do that. I've not started them yet, so I can't speak to anything regarding them, but that is another thing that is on the docket for 2026. And that's going to do it for today. Thanks for stopping by and listening to my plans for these last few months, my plans going into 2026. Down below in the comments, let me know what you're reading now. What are your plans for the rest of the year? What are you planning on doing in 2026? Are you going to do the 26 for 2026 challenge? I'm certainly going to do that as well. So let me know down in the comments, what are your big releases for next year? What are you excited about? What's coming down the line in November and December? As always, please like and subscribe to help us grow this corner of our BookTube community. And until the next one, take care.